All right, Boker Tov, everybody. I'm Riva Muna. It's Monday, November 28th, 2022. Like a blur already. Daled Kislev. Woohoo! Hatafshin Pei Gimel. And we're recording live in Svat from the Bas Medrash. We are in the Noseh, the topic of Shabbos, but it's all connected to Hanukkah and Parshat, and we're going to see it's really all roads lead to home. That's really where we're going with this. So we are in Likutei Halachot of Rav Nassan's teachings from Rabbi Nachman. We're in Hilchah Shabbos, and we are in Halacha Gimel, but we left off last time in the middle. I'm just going to trust my intuition. Okay. Sorry if I'm making you crazy. I have to trust my own intuition. I'm switching to the Netivot Shalom. Okay. Sorry, just bear with me. Here we are. Okay. So we're in the month of Kislev. And something that we did not mention in the Kislev class, which I really want to mention, is we did mention that the ot is a samich, and we did mention that the samich is a circle. So now we're just going to tie that into Shabbos as being the center of the circle, right? The very inside point, the tachlit, right? And we're going to say something interesting that so samich is gematria of shishim, 60. That's a circle at the shape of a samich. And we said something last time about batel b'shishim. So Shabbos itself holds the energy of batel b'shishim, because there's, remember, 6 times 6 is 360. That gives you a circle. And right in the center point is the thing that gives the power of batel b'shishim. Because thank you. So let's go back. So yeah, I know. Sorry, my mind is like, okay. So Shabbos is the merkaz, is the center of the week, right? If we had a circle and it has equally divided into 6 parts each day of the week, right? 6 times 6 gives us 360 degrees of a circle, right? And that's how we camped in the Midbar, right? And then in the center point is something called the camp of the Shechina, also known as Shabbos. Is that better? Clear? More clear? No, wait, just the circle part. The samich is the circle. It is the circle. So it carries all those same imprintings and energies.
And the center is where the
Aron is.
The Aron is.
Yes, it's Shabbos.
I'm trying to say Beis HaMikdash, but I know that's not what it was at that point. It was the
Mishkan.
The Mishkan. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's where the Mishkan is.
Okay, so, but where I was really going with this, and this is really, it's a wild Torah, okay? This is like one of your fasten your seatbelts Torahs, okay? We're going to keep seeing in these Parshiot, starting with this Shabbos, okay? This idea called Kfitzas Haderech, Kfitzat Haderech, right? Ready? Quantum leaps of consciousness. Quantum leaps of consciousness. So we're plodding along step after step after step after step, and then suddenly something happens, and it's not you're in the same reality, right? And we call that toggling, right? Same reality, something new. Same reality, something new. Same reality. Oh my gosh, it's something new, right?
Is it the word betzak? What is the word?
Oh, kofetz. Kuf.
Oh.
Pei tzadik sofit. Likfotz, to jump, to leap.
Hey.
This Shabbos already, we have a kfitzat haderech, right? We have a Kvitzat Haderech already. He thinks he's in lose. Lose is a part in your body. Lose is a part of consciousness. This is the lose bone.
Right.
Okay. He thinks he's in one place of consciousness, and yet, surprise, he's in Moriah. What's Moriah?
The base.
The pineal, that's where the ladder is.
What?
That's where the ladder is. That's right. That's where the ladder is. The sulam. Here, this is the top of the sulam, and your spine is the sulam. Right? So he thinks he's in, so that the holy Alshech says, this Kvitzat Haderech happened. This is a really interesting. Hashem, it's not that Yaakov traveled fast in this time. We have 3 different Kvitzat Haderechs, and each one is different. Okay, so stay with me. This is number 1 Kvitzat Haderech, and Yaakov thinks he's in Luz, but surprise, he's already past Luz, and now he's in Moriah, right? The land of Moriah, Har Habayit, right? Okay, so this is Mamish Kavalt. So it says sometimes Hashem would pick up the person like Eliezer. He picks up Eliezer, folds the land, and plops Eliezer down in Aram Naharaim. Yeah, you guys following me?
Right.
Jump in and ask or interrupt or whatever. You know better. Let me just check the chat. Okay, so but can you hear that kind of Kvitzat Haderech? With Yaakov, that's not what happened. Yaakov's walking. Hashem picked up Moriah and brought it to Yaakov. You think you're in one makom, and then Hashem's like, surprise, just kidding. You're in a totally different makom.
But in one case, it was the makom that changed, not the person.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So I just wanted to invite us in to the fact that Kislev is created by the letter Samech. I feel like Sesame Street, right? Created by the letter Samech. And the circle, understand that Shabbos is holding this same energy. It's the same energy of Batel B'Shishim, one battled in six parts of 60, right? And it has this power of what? Kvitzas Haderech, changing your consciousness in leaps and bounds, not in Teva, not Elohim, but Yud Kei Vav Kei Elohim and Zivug. We're going to get there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if you'll notice that Cheshvan was a nun, and it was a 50. And all of a sudden we're at Samech 60. Do you understand how our consciousness just leaped? Tishrei was a Lamed. We were in 30. Cheshvan was a nun. We're in 50. Now we're in Samech 60. Do you understand? Things are speeding up. Things are speeding up.
What happened before?
That's the whole point. There was a quantum leap.
Wait, you're talking about the letters of Kislev?
The letters of the month. No, Lamed is the letter of Tishrei. 30, Lamed, Tishrei. Nun, Cheshvan, 50. That was a leap. Yeah, and now we're doing another big leap. Yes, but it's not. But yes, but it was which direction was the leap? Which direction was the leap? Down. Don't worry. Let's go into the text.
The power of Tishrei is stronger than the power of Cheshvan in some ways.
Whatever. I don't want to do Tishrei. Mamish just wanted to bring our consciousness in to the fact that what is being offered in this month in the simplest way, without like academics, because Chaval, to lose us, right? Let's be simple. The simple thing is what we see in the Parsha is because that's what's available to us in our spiritual journey of growing consciousness. That's what we mean when we say spiritual journey. So the fact that Kvitzas Haderechs are showing up means that Kvitzas Haderechs are showing up. Okay, and that Chazal wants us to notice that, and that there's different types of Kvitzas Haderech. And in this week's, Eliezer had a different type of Kvitzas Haderech, and that was in Chaye Sarah. And
also not in Judaism.
yes, but he had a different type of Kvitzat Haderech, leaping over space and time. You can see that this is very intimate. Hashem is directly involved in bringing the makom to Yaakov. That's why Vayifga, he's walking along and all of a sudden, boom, Moriah is there. Wait, what? I thought I was in Luz. Because, and this is what the Alshich says, yeah, Hashem brought the higher consciousness to him.
Isn't Luz Moriah? Where's Luz?
No, Luz is a city. Luz is a city in Eretz Yisrael, the actual land of Eretz Yisrael. And Luz is a state of, all cities in Eretz Yisrael are states of consciousness. It just depends on what world we're talking about. Okay, here we go. Right. So I just wanted to invite us all in to and understand that when the Kohanim are doing Birkat Kohanim, that's all the same portal. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. The circle of Birkat Kohanim, the letter Samech, the wedding ring, the rainbow, Shabbos. Right. I didn't, but someone told me about it. It's all the same. It's all the same portal. Okay. It's you can see that it's open, it's unblocked, right? It's being held in something and holding something. So that was just kind of an introduction. Okay. Sorry. Too confusing. All right. So here we go. So we're in the Netivot Shalom on this is the Sloner Rebbe, and greeting Pnei Shabbat Hamalka. Sorry, guys, they're both drawing me. Trying to. Kabbalat Pnei Shabbat Malkita. Okay, again, understand. We're learning this from multiple kavanot, but we want to be simple, right? As we deepen actual Shabbos in the week, in our connection to actual Shabbos in the week, we're also preparing for Geulah because it's the same energy. Yeah, because they're looking at me blank, right? It's the same energy that we're talking about. We do it every week a little bit more, and then there's going to be a time when the toggling stops and we tip over into a new consciousness called Shabbos. Yeah. So we're getting ready by learning what it is, right? And this is part of what we mean by Kvitzat Haderech. There's an Isarusa de la Tata and an Isarusa de la Ela kind of Kvitzat Haderech. There's a Kvitzat Haderech where we do more, Isarusa de la Tata, and there's a Kvitzat Haderech where the Isarusa de la Ela does more.
Hashem is bringing the makom to us.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly. Okay. So remember, it says like we can makdim Shabbat. We can bring Shabbos in early. We can't take Shabbos out early, but we can bring Shabbos in early. Right? You understand? V'amevin Yavin. We can bring Shabbos in early. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's okay. If it's okay, I'm gonna just go into the text. Okay. Kabbalat pnei Shabbat malkita, receiving the insides, receiving to your insides. What is this energy of the Shabbos queen? And what is my Shabbos face? We talked about this a little bit already, right? And how is that connected to Malchus? Bo'u v'neitzei likrat kala. Now, you understand Parshat, ready? Get ready for it. Veyetze. Okay? Bo'u v'neitzei likrat kala. Veyetze means we're going out this week from a certain state of consciousness. Going out from a certain state, we're heading towards a different state of consciousness. And then Hashem surprises us and is like, oh, look, you're at Hal HaMoriah. How did that happen? Okay. Says, let's go out and greet the face of the bride. Katav HaRambam Hilchos Shabbos. So the Rambam, Maimonides, writes in Hilchos Shabbos, Perek Lamed, Halacha Bet. Me'inyanei Erev Shabbat v'zu l'shalom. He's talking about Erev Shabbos, and this is his language. Mitatef b'tzitzit v'yoshev b'koved rosh meyachel lehakbalat pnei haShabbat kmo shehu yotze likrat hamelech. So he would wrap himself in his tzitzis as his tallis, and he would sit bekoved rosh. I don't even know what that means, if he would sit like this, or his hat on him, or his head covered, right? Koved rosh. Meyachel, like a chayal, ready, right? Ready, activated. Lehakbalat pnei haShabbat, to receive the face, the insides, the inner light, this consciousness called Shabbos. It's not just the mind, but it's also peace of mind. But can you imagine peace of mind that extends in every direction to peace of body, peace of heart, right? Peace of thought, peace of breath, right? Peace taking up space, peace of being, peace of existing, right? It's a lot of peace. V'chachamim harishonim. Isn't it interesting that the way that we get this level of consciousness is by not doing. By not doing, right? By learning how to stop and be with ourselves and quiet down and be open to what is, and be open. That's also the samech, right? Be open to what is in the space and be with it and be aware of it instead of just running through it, right? That's to me how I see Yaakov's like, I'm in my life, I'm in my life, I'm in my life, I'm in my life. And the makom is like, boom. And he's like, whoa, ma norah hamakom hazeh. I didn't know that even in the daily doings of olam hazeh is holiness. I'm on my way to holiness. I'm trying to get to Hal HaMoriah. I'm trying to get to some really high elevated space. And Hashem's like, stop. You're already there. You're already there right now in the darkness, in the right, and the sun is down, and here's Moriah, right? It's not, you can makdim Moriah to you, right? And he's telling him, stop, look around and say, Ma norah hamakom hazeh. Hazeh, right here, right now. What is happening in this space? Because Hashem is inviting me to elevate my consciousness right here, right now, with what's being offered, with all the circumstances that are here, with Lavan and with Rachel and with trickery, and right, Hashem is offering me. It's not, Abraham, it's now the mountaintop experience of disconnecting from this world, right? And it's not a Yitzchak in the field experience. It's Yaakov. So what's Yaakov? Number one, Yaakov is going to be dealing with always, it says that al shech be'inyanei kedusha and be'inyanei reshut. Avram Avinu is mitzvahs aseh, the actions that I take in this world to become connected. Yitzchak Avinu is mitzvahs lo aseh, the borders I need to make, the things I need to not do in order to not fall out of consciousness, in order to not fall into disconnection, right? And Yaakov is called Reshut. And Reshut means it's not inherently good or bad. It's not inherently, I should do this or I shouldn't do that. It becomes living dynamically, moment to moment in Hashgacha Pratis, right? Mitzvahs aseh, I should do this. Mitzvahs lo aseh, I shouldn't do that. Reshut is as Hashgacha, as Har HaMoriah is coming at me, as Hashgacha is coming at me, I'm in the makom. Now what? How do I respond? How do I deal with being in trickery, right, and mockery, and trying to stay in high consciousness at the same time? Not going to a mountaintop experience, right? How do I learn how to deal with all that is coming at me, right?
It's Baderech.
Okay, so he says like this. And understand that let's just say the line for a moment, right? Yaakov is going to elevate into, of course, Yisrael, right? But when we're going this way, Yosef, and then David Shabbat HaMalka, right? And there's that's what's being birthed here. Okay. V'hachachamim harishonim hayu mekavtzim talmidehem be'erev Shabbos. So the great holy masters would gather all their students on Erev Shabbos. Umit'atfim ve'omrim bo'u v'netzei likrat Shabbat hamelech. I didn't make it up. So weird, right? So they would gather their talmidim on Erev Shabbos, and they would wrap them. I guess this is in Talis. And they would say, let us go out and greet Shabbos the king. Veyesh lahitamek begodel chashivut hasha'ah hagdola panai dema'ale shabta asher kiyadua leba'im b'son Hashem az hu zman aliyat ha'olamot v'haneshimot. He says, let's take a moment and meditate into this moment of right before we're about to transition into Shabbos. We're so busy. I mean, I know I always lightly, right? Hashem should bless me to get that together, but right? He says, take a moment then. Do we understand that we're literally moving from one state of consciousness? If we really knew that, how would we enter Shabbos? We're literally about, he says, you know how holy that time is right before? We're about to literally change our nature. We're going to step into an elevated inner nature. We call that the Neshama Yetera. Yeah, like an additional level of consciousness, of light, of awareness, of energy that's so present that if you choose to tune in, it comes more strongly. But even if you don't choose to tune in, it's there.
So all week we make Shabbos, and when we light, we accept Shabbos, and literally we close our visual sense and bring it into us.
Yes.
Is that?
But it is. But he's. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm kicking you. Sorry. Okay. He's yes. He's just saying. He says this is This is the highest point of all worlds. By worlds, we mean states of consciousness. That's what an olam means, right? V'haneshamot, and all souls. Umehai ta'ama, yesad habel shem tov, zchuto yagen aleinu lomar, et mizmor hodu b'kabbalat Shabbat. And he says, and for this reason, the holy Baal Shem Tov used to say hodu when as part of Kabbalat Shabbat. He was just like at Thanksgiving, like just I'm like it's just such. I'm in hodu comes from hod, right? To be in reverence, in acceptance, in thanks and gratitude, in ready for it. This is so profound. An elevation of victim consciousness. Victim consciousness. The shadow of Hod is to feel victimized by this world or in this world. It's the shadow of Hod. And Hodu is the turnaround of that energy. Right? I'm not a victim. It's precise, it's exact, it's a perfect, it's Hashem's perfect plan of growing my consciousness. He says, he's giving us a little taste of what it is like, right? By the holy masters, how they transition into this consciousness, this nature, this inner state. ואפשר ללמוד על העניין המיוחד של שעה נשגבה זו מדברי חז"ל בעניין רץ והזיק את חברו. So he says, so Chazal are going to bring us into learning just a little bit of, he calls it the hour, right? Meaning that last hour when we're transitioning from, right? V'ami v'nyavim. You understand? Like it's
Are you on Zoom? People are asking.
I am.
Oh, you are.
I don't see anyone on Zoom. Maybe they're on a different, maybe.
I don't know. I sent out a link that you've been using. Same link.
Okay. Oh, all right. I'll just keep going and people, if someone can put on I am recording it. Yeah. I understand. I'm on our link of our Tuesdays and Thursdays, not the Boss Medrash link. If someone could just put that on the WhatsApp, is someone, Jody, could you do that? It's just someone just put on the WhatsApp that we're on our link that we use all the time, our regular link. Sorry. I'm very sorry. Okay, so he says, let's learn about this last hour, right? Do you understand why I'm teaching this, right? Let's learn about the last hour. Let's learn about the last hour. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What can we do to try to, just as we receive, the way we receive Shabbos is a lot how we receive change. It's how we receive stopping. It's how we receive receiving. It's how we receive rest, right? It's how we receive goodness, right? So he's saying, let's work on that a little bit. How we receive change, how we receive acceptance. Because if that potato cook's not cooked, saying it as a silly thing, but if that potato cook's not cooked and Shabbos comes in, this is about accepting reality and that it's perfect that way. It's okay. It's more than okay. It's perfect. Right? So he's starting to train our mind. It's okay. You think it's not okay if that's not done or this didn't get solved or you don't have an answer for this yet. But shh, this is a different reality. It has different rules. It has different rules and different laws and different energies. Okay, so he says, Modeh Isai be'erev Shabbos bein hashmashos shehu patur mipnei sheretz bereshut ve'amarinan al ze. Oh, hi, honey. Joyce just popped up. Okay. Wow, this is, I'm going to need a second to unpack this for myself. Okay, so he says like this. Please God Hashem should open my mochin. So he says, we learn about this Midivrei Chazal, from the words of our holy masters, Be'inyan, with regard to Ratz vehezik et chavero, that someone is running and then they cause damage to their friend. Baba Kama Lamed Bet Amud Aleph. Cool that it happens to be Daf Lev. Just to notice. I love the little things Chazal is like. Did you see that? See what I did there? See that? Okay. Modeh Isai be'erev Shabbat ben hashmashot. So okay. So he says like this. By the way, I'm learning this for the first time myself right now. So Hashem should mamish open the pathways. So he says it's erev Shabbos ben hashmashot. Now ben hashmashot is a very special time, and that's where Yaakov is this week. Bein Hashmashot. Bein Hashmashot is the fertile ground of Tiferet. It's the place between the polarities. Polarities are black and white. They're defined. Polarity is day or night, good or bad, light or shadow. Bein Hashmashot is everything in between. It's all the colors, it's all the gray, it's gradation, right? Gradation. Oh, Bein Hashmashot, between the suns.
Oh, between the sun.
Which is between the lights.
Right.
Of consciousness. Between this state of consciousness and this state of consciousness is mush, is bubble, is ta'arovet, is, wait for it, erev. Erev, this is Yaakov Avinu. Erev, Ma'ariv, the tefillah of Ma'ariv. The tefillah when you're in the mix, light and dark, holy and not holy, bodies, masculine, feminine, good, evil. Keep going. No, it's not exactly tohu. It's not exactly tohu. It's tohu's before there's any light.
Right.
This is bein hashmashot when it's a ta'arovet. It's the mixture of it's the good. Yeah, it's the good, and it's not this, not that. We are gonna have to figure out if it's this or that and cut a path through. Oh, sorry. Wait, sorry. 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, what you need to create.
Beautiful.
The boundaries are being created.
Beautiful.
Is that it?
That's beautiful. The Eru. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay. It's also going to be where Tiferet is going to come out from. Right? And his name, Yisrael, is going to come from this dark meeting light, right? His showdown with Esav, right? Yeah, not yet. We're not there yet, but we're building there. Okay. So he says like this. So now we need to know also that halachically bein hashmashot, it's a separate reality. There's all kinds of halachas that apply. There's day halachas, there's night halachas, and there's bein hashmashot halachas, because it's a weird reality. It's a reality of what? Transition. This is what he's talking about. Erev Shabbos into Shabbos. Bein hashmashos, transition. How do we transition is everything. What happens to us as we're transitioning, because we're all transitioning. Right? What happens? Is that when we lose hope? Is that when we lose faith? Is that when we fall apart? Is that when we find strength? Is that when we find our voice? Right? Transition is, it's not day and it's not night. What do you hold on to when it's not day and it's not night? You know what you hold on to? First of all, hamakom. This where Hashem has me. That's first of all. Right? Hashem brought me this makom. Hashem wants me in this spot of the mush, of the Bein Hashmashot, right? You understand? Okay, so he says like this. Modeh Isai be'erev Shabbat Bein Hashmashot shehu patur mipnei sheratz v'reshut. And it says he's freed from damages to the sky, right? And he says sheratz v'reshut because he was running in the space called reshut, right? We like we have reshut hayachid, reshut harabim, right? So deep what he's doing here. Did you understand? He's also saying Yaakov Avinu is always the area of reshut, because he's not mitzvahs aseh or not mitzvahs lo taseh. He's the area of reshut. Okay, good. Just a side point. Ve'amarinan al zeh begemara ma'i bereshut ika. Ked Rabbi Chanina de Amar Rabbi Chanina bo'u v'netzeh likrat kala. Someone just say something? No. The imre la likrat Shabbat kala malkata. So I think he's going to go. Okay. I don't know where he's going with this, so I'm going to skip over it so I don't waste all of our time. Sorry, I don't understand. He's having a conversation here, and he says that Rabbi Chanina said, come and let's go out and let's greet the Shabbos queen. Ve'imre la likrat Shabbat kala malkata. And he says, and I say to you, come, let's go out and let's greet the Shabbos queen. Rabbi Yanai mit atef v'kai ve'amar boi kala. And Rabbi Yanai wrapped himself, which sounds to me like a chatan putting on the talit, right? And he stood up and he said, boi kala. Uktav azeh b'chidushay agudat meharasha kala hashabat kala al pi ma shekatuv l'chol yesh ben zug v'li lo natata ben zug. And he says, this is like really deep, okay? It's really deep, right? And he says, why do we call Shabbos the Kala? Why do we call her the Kala? He says, because she came and she said, everything in the world is duality.
What?
Duality is two. Everything is Zachar and Nekeva. Everything is polarities. But I am perfect unity. What could match with perfect unity? What could be a benzu? Right? What could match with something that's the energy of unification? You understand? Because there's polarity and there's perfect unity. And she's like, I don't understand. I'm Ben Hashmashot. Ben Hashmashot also means to fall between the cracks. Where is my place if I'm Ben Hashmashot? My place isn't in the light. My place isn't in the dark. My place isn't in the world of duality. My place isn't in perfect unity because I'm a human being. Where is my place? Right? She says, oh. So she comes to Hashem and she says, listen, in the world of duality, everything has a polarity. When you go around the circle, right? Everything has the line, it has a polarity on the other side. But in the middle of the circle, which is Shabbos, what can partner with that? Right? So he says, so Shabbos says, Veli lo natata ben zug. And you didn't give me a soulmate. Where's my soulmate? Amarla. So Hashem says to her, to Shabbos, Amarla Kadosh Baruch Hu, Knesset Yisrael yihye ben zugech.
Yeah.
And he says, the entire collective vessel of Am Yisrael, the entire collective heart and body and mind, God bless you, of Am Yisrael will be, God bless you, will be your partner.
It's the consciousness. It's our collective consciousness. Say that again. Yeah. Bless.
He's saying, she's saying like this, right? She's saying, everything in the world has consciousness and a level of something or somebody that can receive that consciousness. But I'm the consciousness of perfect love, of perfect unity, of perfect rachamim, of perfection. What being in this world is the receptacle to receive that level of consciousness? We're not there yet, right? What being could receive what I am, right? I am this level of consciousness. What being can partner with me then? I'm going to be alone, right? And Hashem comes and says, you're not going to be alone. Right? Says, no, the collective vessel of Am Yisrael, collectively, we're able to hold this new song, this new reality, this new level of consciousness, this new perfection. It's true that when we're fragmented and separate, we don't have the vessel for the new reality. But Shabbos is what unifies our field and restores Shechina Beinenu. So we're like one pulsating heart, right? One mind, one body, one, right? With Shechina Beinenu connecting us. So we become one organism. And when we're on that level, also the veils are gone, the masks are gone, right? He says, that, he says, don't worry, right? There is going to be a being, an organism in the world that can receive this new reality. And guess what? They're going to practice receiving this new reality and get better and better at it. And then they're going to prepare the whole world for receiving that level of reality. Yeah.
So why is that a color?
Why are we the why are we the call? Well,
Shabbos is the color.
like the Shabbos. Why is the Shabbos the kala? Okay. It says like this. Amar LaKadosh Baruch Hu, Knesset Yisrael yihye ben zugcha. Right? Knesset is, thank you, because you caught that. It's actually backwards, right? It says, wow, it's actually backwards. Knesset Yisrael will be your husband.
Right. We're the husband.
V'hashabat gufehi Nesu'al Yisrael. And Shabbos, the body of Shabbos, says the body of Shabbos is as if she's married to Am Yisrael. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you understand the wink he's saying here? To Yisrael. Yisrael, Yaakov
What
Yisrael.
What Yaakov will become.
Yaakov Yisrael. Shabbos is married to Yisrael. Aval. B'pnai demale shabta hi kehachnasat kala lechupa. It says, right? And it says in the highest levels, when we're receiving Shabbos, it's to bring the kala to the chuppah. Uchmoshe al yedei hakidushin behachnasata lechupa. And just like when we bring the kala into the chuppah, we bring her in through kiddushin to the chuppah. Na'aset hakala nesu'ah, and that's what makes her married. Ken hashabat be hichnisato bekiddush hayom na'aset kenesu'ah Yisrael. That's exactly what happens at Kiddush. At Kiddush, we become married to Shabbos.
And it's a separate time and space, and
Yeah.
that's the chuppah.
That's the chuppah. And we enter into, before we were single, whatever that means, and we were two halves. And when we make kiddush, we enter into the chuppah, we go through kiddushin, and we come out on the other side married.
Oh, that's why it's so powerful, the kiddush, the first night.
Ubiur dvarav, he says, and let's go deeper and say, what does this mean a little bit? Yesh lomar. So we want to add, Shabbat mitkayem hayichud v'hadveikut ben Knesset Israel v'Shabbos. Something happens to us on Shabbos that it's the full unification and dveikut and bonding and connecting of the entire body of Am Yisrael, the entire light. It's really the entire light of Am Yisrael and Shabbos. What do we mean when we say the entire light of Am Yisrael? In this case, we're talking about it as the dukva, right? And when we're as the dukva. So understand the masculine, sorry.
Yeah.
So understand what we're saying here is like this. Yisrael is always the vav. It's there on pin. It's the 6 days of the week. It's the masculine energy. It's the energy of doing, of creating, right? Of birurim, of the mixture of the good and the bad and the light, right? Because what's getting married is that masculine energy of the doing, of the birurim, of the tarovet, of the mixture, right? And Shabbos, which is the batel b'shishim energy. Shabbos, which is the heart of kedusha, of wholeness, and all that fracturing of the week, and all the running, and all the active energy gets held so deeply in the feminine energy of it's all okay, you're home, you're safe, right? For 6 days, you were thrown back out into gullus consciousness. And now come home and you're and rest. Come home, you're held, right? There's something to hold. All of that shattering, all the fracturing, all of the ta'alovet, all of the darkness, right? Just, I know they marry. What does it mean to marry? They become one. That's what Yaakov Yisrael is doing. How do I stay? How am I in this world, but in Shabbos consciousness? Right. This was his whole thing, right? How do I deal with crooked Lavan and being tricked and getting a job and marriage and children and intimacy and hold in Shabbos energy, but be in the darkest consciousness of this world. This is right. This is the secret is when Israel joins with Shabbos. I'm gonna do a little bit more. וביאור דבריו יש לומר שבשבת מתקיים הייחוד והדבקות בין כנסת ישראל ושבת, שיהיו בבחינת נישואין, on the level of a wedding, of marriage, of a chuppah. ולכך קוראים לשבס קודש קלה, and that's why we call the Shabbos the bride. ובין זוגה, and her husband, who Knesset Israel, is the totality of Israel. דעצם השבת היא בחינת נישואין בשלמות. בשלמות כל החלקים. He says, because what Shabbos is, now understand what he's saying, what Shabbos is, what Geula is, what Kislev is, right? What Shrinta is. You understand? He's saying it's all the same thing. He's saying that is the experience of putting the pieces back together into wholeness. The circle.
And that's the third leap of consciousness. Yeah. No.
I didn't understand.
You talked about that we were in the places of the leaps of consciousness. And that the first was the running. He thinks he's in Luz. And then
We didn't even do the third one yet, honestly. We
this
didn't
is
talk
still
about the
part
third.
of the second level.
This is part of the second level.
Of consciousness. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the third is
Yes.
always going to be putting the pieces back together
together,
again
right.
in Shlemut. Yeah.
We're leaping into the third with the kiddush, with the kiddushin.
Vilel Shabbos Kodesh hu b'chinat kiddushin. So he says, so Friday night, each part of Shabbos is going to be a different part of the chuppah and the kiddushin and the marriage. So Friday night is kiddushin when we make kiddush. B'zeh omrim b'tfilah ata kiddashta. That's why we say in the tfilah, ata kiddashta, you have makadeshed us, right? You've set us aside for this special intimacy and connection. Ulefi zeh panai demale shabtahi ke hachnasata kala lechuppah. And that's why the holy masters would teach that going out and receiving Shabbos was like accompanying the bride to the chuppah. Ukatav od meharasha, and the Rasha brings down more. The hamshech dvarav, and his words continued. V'zelashon, and this is what he said. V'kar'a malketa shehi kalat hamelech, and we call her the queen because she's the bride of the king. Dechol Yisrael b'nei melachim hem, because all of Am Yisrael are the children of the king. Ulezeh amar. Dehainu be'erev Shabbos kodem knisata bo'u v'netzeh likvat. And he says, okay. And he says, and if this is the case, then let's go out before she comes. Let's go out and meet her and be ready to greet her. Bo v'netzeh likrata. Let's go out and prepare ourselves to walk her to the chuppah.
So
Derech hachatan letzet likrat hakala, because it is the manner of the chatan to go out and to meet the bride. K'mo shekatuv, Hashem misinai ba. We saw from Har Sinai that Hashem came down and waited on Har Sinai. Okay. Yatsa likratam, right? Hashem came to welcome us, to greet us, to walk us.
I have a question. How is it that?
Wait, sorry. Can I just finish the paragraph? Because I think we're going to get cut off and we're going to be in the middle. Sorry. Kechatan hayotze lehakbil pnei hakala, like a groom that goes out to welcome the face of his bride. Keperush Rashi, like Rashi teaches there, beParshat v'zot habracha, in the Parsha of Zot habracha. Ve'amar to Rabbi Yanai, mida acheret hayta lo, shelo amar netzeh likrata ve'adarabah, heve ka'i ve'omed bimkomo. We need like a few more hours. He says, no, listen, there's different ways that we can greet the Kala. Okay. We can do what Rabbi Hanina did, wrap himself in the tallis and sit and wait and welcome her like that. And Rabbi Yanai says, no, we should stand in our place. Not go out and walk her, but stand in our place and welcome her. Right? This is what Riyanai says. V'hainu debeknisata amar bo ikala. And how do we learn this out? Because we're standing and we're saying, come, Kala, you come. Right? You understand? This is exactly what he's talking about with the kvitzot derech and the levels of consciousness. There's a way to go and get the Kala and bring her to the chuppah. And there's a way to stand and greet her and call her and say, come. Do you understand what he's saying? You understand what he's saying? I mean, we don't understand what he's saying, but to the level that we're able to understand, right? He says there's two ways to meet this consciousness, right? There's sitting and, right? There's going out and getting her and bringing her, walking her to the chuppah. And there's standing there and calling to her and saying, Boi Kala. You understand? What's the question? Who's moving towards who?
They're both moving towards each other.
So that would seem like that would be the answer, right? But in the polarity, it's like, right? Is the masculine going towards the feminine and bringing, and she's coming, right? Or is the masculine standing there and calling to the feminine and saying, come? And this is what Rabbi Hanina, Rabbi Yanai are talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like the masculine is being told to create yourself as a feminine, ignite the feminine within you to draw her to you.
So interesting because they're both right.
Yeah.
The Spartan, they meet their Kala, and the Ashkenaz, they go to the Kala.
Also,
They go like that. I noticed, like, I watched
Really?
the wedding where they go to the Kala and then they actually meet her and bring her to the chuppah.
and
Isn't that interesting? And the Ashkenaz, they just meet her, they just recognize that it's her, and then they just wait and stand and wait for her to come.
but at the
So
but
interesting.
sometimes at the chuppah, he walks down through steps to bring her back
Interesting.
right when she comes. Yeah.
So deep. Right. The high
Reva, can I
Can I-
ask a question? Yes, you can finish the paragraph.
paragraph, because I think it will give us a different level of shlemus. Debeknisata amar bo kala, that as she's coming, we say, come kala, shehakala tavo elav, that the kala should come to him, right? Kedera hakala achar knisata lechuppah, as is the manner of the bride, that after she comes to the chuppah, shetavo mi beit aviha lebeit ba'ala, that she should pass through, right, a level of consciousness called her father's house to a level of consciousness called her husband's house. Ulazeh kafal ha'inyan, and that's why it's doubled, and we say boi kala, right? Derotzim lamar, that the holy masters were trying to wake us up and bring us into boi kala lechuppah, 2 different levels of entering this new state. The first one is boi lechuppah, come to the chuppah, come meet the masculine, the new masculine. And afterwards, boi kala lebeit ba'alech. Right. And the second one is, now that you've met the feminine on a new level of consciousness, and the masculine on a new level of consciousness, and you've met in the chuppah, now transition together to Beit Baalech. Okay, and okay, so we have to just say, do I say, Simcha Moon, I did not forget about you or your question, 1 second. But we just want to say something now. This is a very deep remnants to Kislev, because Kislev is the samech, which is the wedding ring. Kislev is, that's exactly right. Right? So we said, first we're boi kala to bring the kala to the chuppah, right? And then we say together, the 2 of you, boi kala to Beit Baalech, right? My God, it's so deep. I'm just like, it's so deep.
And it's so interesting, the Spartan, they meet the Kala, bring her, and the Ashkenaz, she goes around him. It's
Yeah.
like the whole different dynamic that they say.
And it's both. And it's both.
They're both.
But I want to be very intentional here, to break this down, right, in terms of what we're saying, right? We're going out and we're greeting the new feminine, rectified feminine energy, bringing her to the chuppah. Chuppah is the chen. Chuppah is the doorway. Chuppah is where transitions happen if you look at it, a door mantle, it's a chet. Any door mantle where we have the mezuzah, right? It's where the unification happens. It's where the activation happens, right? It's where the lights in the vessels meet and become activated. Bowie Kala is let's join the light to the vessel. Bowie Kala is now you're activated into something, a new level of connection. Right. And also from Kaluta Nefesh. When Simcha Muna had a question.
It was more just to elaborate on the consciousness that is Shabbat or is that we're seeing in this month of Kislev, and wondering like how it's connected deeply to what Hanukkah teaches us. But what I got is like the being with, right? The Shabbat, which is just the being with and seeing the unity of all things, like reconnecting to oneness outside of fragmentation.
Yes.
And then obviously connecting that to what we've been speaking about being with the Hanukkah candles. But I wanted to just, if you can just elaborate a little bit more on what that consciousness is specifically.
Yeah, I feel like again we're going to be layering this, throughout the month. I hope that so this afternoon, maybe this afternoon and tonight, maybe I'll do 2 more Zoom classes because there's just so much, and we want to layer like because we have Parsha and we have Kislev and we have Hanukkah, right, and we have Shabbos, all these layers that we're working with. So I want to Judy's probably going to have us end right now.
Yes, let us know.
You have to be let back in.
Okay, so let's just end here, and I guess we'll I'll send. Let me end the recording, and then we'll talk about it.